Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of Solitaire Gems. So, guys, if you are joining me live, I just want to say thank you. If you're joining me for the hashtag replay, let me know in the comment section where you're joining me from. And of course, you can do the hashtag replay and, of course, where you're from. As I just mentioned, my name is Jacinta Martin, and I am super excited for another episode of Solitaire Gems to actually talk to you guys tonight. Tonight's topic has been on my heart as well to share with you all. So let me go ahead and jump right in and even get started. For those who may not know, my name is Jacinta Martin. I am the creator of a blog called Fruitful Gems. I'm also the creator of a podcast called Polished Gems. So, why gems, you may ask? Well, because at the end of the day, really, truthfully, and honestly, we all need nuggets, right? We need nuggets and wisdom. It is the wisdom, but more importantly, like my favorite quote is the applied wisdom that we take in is the best way to move forward and make progress. So that's why this show, right? And what I do is take Thursday nights at 8 p.m. to share one nugget with you. That's why it's called Solitaire Gems. So, tonight, let me get into our topic and tell you what we're going to share tonight. Tonight, what I'm sharing is this. It's what do you need to carry with you when entering a new season? For the past few of these lives, I've been talking about a new season. I've been talking about what you kind of need along the journey of entering a new season in different aspects and different topics. If you haven't already done so, please feel free to go ahead and take a look at my other YouTube videos as well, cataloging the different topics that I just mentioned. Um, One thing I wanted to let you guys know is just, of course, a little bit more background about me. I told you what I do, but let me explain why I do what I do. So, I actually teach people to rebuild and even heal in their lives to become whole in their mind and body and spirit, but especially starting with their mindset using the nine fruits of God's Spirit. The reason why I do that is because God did it for me. He helped me overcome my mindset. I had been through so much pain. I really want to say it was the last 4 years, just about or more. I have been in and out of seasons of tremendous pain that I have had to press through, learn through, overcome, and even start to develop a strategy of how to get not only over things but through things. It has not been easy, and God is still working through a lot of things with me. But when I tell you it's been worth it, it has been worth it. I am not stuck where I used to be in so much tremendous pain or even trauma that life tried to bring me, right? So, and I know you might be wondering to yourself, what kind of pain, what kind of trauma am I talking about? I've been through so many different types of pain and trauma, but just to give you guys something more concrete, I've dealt with death of a close family member. It was actually the death of my father. I've dealt with marriage and marriage not being what it really wanted to be. I've also dealt with, even more recently, divorce. I have dealt with just uh, trauma of identity and things of that nature, trying to learn who I am. So I've been through, I feel sometimes the most, but uh, what's been amazing has been God teaching me to rebuild with the nine fruits of his spirit. So just to give you guys that background to that, the blog Fruitful Gems that I mentioned a minute ago, the it has been the catalyst. I started that in 2016. So blogging about those traumas, blogging about those pains, and sharing the solution that God was giving me as I was having to learn and get out of it myself, or learn and overcome it, or learn and don't stay stuck or stagnant, has been the has been what I've been writing about. Originally, my blog was called From Faith to Faith, and that was because I was just trying to reconnect with God. After reconnecting with God, that's when it became Fruitful Gems. I want to say about 2 years later, and in those 2 years later, when that happened, what has been super amazing is God really helped me establish myself and rebuild myself with the fruits of his spirit. He showed me how he has given me ways to be able to do it, use it in practical steps so that it's not foreign language or a foreign entity, right? As well. I'm also a two-time, what was birthed out of that was a two-time author that I became. I wrote two books, one a devotional called From Faith to Faith, a 45-day devotional, where you can go through that and you can chronologically show you different things, how to build up your faith in those 45 days. That devotional really was a good resource and even tool, not only for the readers that got it, but even for myself. It was super helpful as well. The other book I've been able to write is a novel called The Fragmented Soul. So, hence, the rebuilding of the mind, body, and the spirit, because that's what the Fragmented Soul novel is about. It talks about a prodigal daughter experience with the main character, how she goes out, she leaves God's area and things of that nature, in terms of leaving the safety of what she knew, the mindset that she knew, because she had a good foundation, but lost it along the way. And when she lost it, her soul became fragmented because of her actions. So it is a great novel, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the author, but because really and truthfully, these were God books. Like, I allowed him to lead and be creative on it, so that's why I mentioned that. Also, I am a mom of two children and even a real estate agent here in the state of Georgia. But guys, enough about me. I want to share with you great information. That's what I'm really here to do. So, enough about me and enough about my background. Let's jump into it tonight. What I want you to do, if you are also looking at this replay, I want you to interact with me. Or even if you're looking at this live, I want you to interact with me with this question. Let me know in the comments, or even place your answer in the comments. What do you believe you need to carry with you on the journey of entering a new season? I'm going to ask this question again. This question is good to me. Let me know in the comments. What do you believe you need to carry with you on the journey of entering a new season? There is no wrong answer, as I just want to see what it is that you think that you need. To be quite honest, of course, there can be multiple answers to this loaded question, right? But as I said, I am super, super excited to share with you all this one gem tonight here on Solitaire Gems that you can carry with you, along with you, as you enter a new season that you are even being called to go through. What I want you to do for me though tonight and is this as well. I want you to not only let a friend know about this, but I want you to do one additional specific thing. That thing is this. If this blesses you, if you watch this and you're like, this is good information, where can I get more? To get more access, what I want you to do is to head over to my blog, which is www.fruitfulgems.com. And I am going to put this up for you. Hold on one second. There it is. Become a part of the Fruitful Gems family. This way you get connected not only when I go live or anyone else from Fruitful Gems, but also you can get connected to our podcast, to our mini blogs, to access to our books and things like that by becoming a part of our family. And we have so many resources to help, like I mentioned, rebuild and heal the areas of your mind, your body, and your spirit so you can become whole. The pain and the trauma doesn't have to live with you. So, like I said, I placed it up there on the screen. It is scrolling, and definitely check us out. So, that is my introduction. Let's get into the heart of tonight and let me share that one gem with you. Now, why does it seem like new beginnings are birthed in the midst of storms? Have you ever stopped to really think or even look at that? Now, the reason why this question came to my mind was this. Way back when I was journaling and sitting down, writing out my thoughts, I looked through some past journal entries. I kind of like to do that from time to time. Reason why, it's just to see how far I've come in my thought process, is one reason. Another reason is to just really see if I've not only have I grown, but am I still doing the same things I did before, right? Sometimes I'll just journal a basic thought patterns about my day, and I'll use viewing old journals to see if anything changed in my life as well. But when I looked at these old entries, what I saw was this. I saw this prayer, a part of a prayer that I had written down. This was actually during the time when my son, when I found out I was actually getting ready to give birth to my son. Little did I know, at that time, this was like real early on, when you get the confirmation of your pregnancy test and all that. So I didn't even um, all the way know him, right? But this is what I wrote. I'm going to read it for verbatim to you. I said, lastly, God, and that's the other thing I do. I'm going to give you background context. I write down prayers. Um, Even in writing down my prayers, I can see how far my mindset has gone or if I've changed in an area as well too. But I said this. Lastly, thank you for the confirmation with the pregnancy test. Please lead, protect, and help me through this new journey. You have done it before, and I know you will do it again. So, the reason why I wrote this in my prayer was this. Um, at the time of finding out that I was pregnant with my son, we had, of course, already had my daughter. And yeah, it had been a good 6 years in between the two, in between both of my children. So at the time, I was like, I didn't think I was having any more children. A lot of times when you get married, people, of course, ask you not long after when you're going to have kids, right? We we did not have kids right away. It was some years into our marriage, and then had our daughter. And then, of course, people always say, are you gonna have another one, right? Do you plan on having another child? Do you plan on having just one more so they can have a play buddy or things of that nature? And we were like, oh my goodness, we're good, we're content. And it's in that contentment, it was in that peace, that next thing I know, I'm writing this note, right? I'm writing, thank you for the confirmation of this pregnancy test, going, oh my goodness, I have to have another. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have another baby again. So let me explain something about me. There was a mixture of excitement but nervousness. And I know you would think, wow, you'd be excited, right? Kid number two should be a joyous occasion. I, in all actuality, was scared about the delivery. I was scared about the delivery. I don't know where, to be quite honest, I don't know where that thought process came from. But what prompted that fear, even beyond the delivery part, was this. When I actually wrote this journal entry, my family and I were going through a lot of storms and tests and trials, is what it seemed, around the same time that we realized I was pregnant. I remember having so many mixed emotions due to not knowing how everything really was going to turn out. Now, what I realized was the timing of God. It is not illogical for God to ask us to pivot or begin a new season during one that looks chaotic or stormy. Oftentimes, the reason why this is the case is because a change of course needs to happen. So even with everything that my family and I were going through, with all the chaos that it seemed, because we were just going through things. When I tell you, hits financially, our marriage was going through some things, just how we were parenting was going through some things. We were just challenged in a lot of areas, to the point where it seemed like we couldn't get on stable footing, right? But this new um, confirmation of this pregnancy test took us from one way to another way. So we had to either, what it was preparing us for, that we had to shift, right? And like I said, that shifting brings about change. So here's the one gem that I want to share with you. You ready? It is this: hold tight to the foundation of your faith. I'm going to say that one again. The one solitaire gem for you for tonight is this: hold tight to the foundation of your faith. Now, you may ask, okay, I've heard that before. I've tried that before. Why this? Why this one nugget of all the gems I could have said tonight? Well, here's why. You don't have to take my word for it. Hebrews 11, 1 through 3 says this: Now faith is the assurance, the title, the deed, and the confirmation. Oh, and I'm going to pause right here. I'm reading from the Amplified Version if you want to go check this out. So Hebrews 11, 1 through 3 says, Now faith is the assurance, title, deed, confirmation of things hoped for, divinely guaranteed, and the evidence of things not seen, the conviction of their reality. Faith comprehends as fact what cannot be experienced by the physical senses. So these parts that you hear me emphasizing are in parentheses. It even goes on to say in verse 2, for by this kind of faith with um, a men of old gain, meaning divine approval, by faith, that is, with an inherent trust and enduring confidence in the power, in wisdom, and goodness of God, we understand that the world's universe and ages were framed and created, meaning formed, put in order, and equipped for their intended purpose by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things which are visible. So, why Hebrews 11? Well, Hebrews 11 actually goes on to talk about faith. It literally, most of that chapter, if not all, talks about faith. The reason why, the part that I really, really want you to catch is this: that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, meaning hope for, that our hope is divinely guaranteed. The evidence of things not seen, meaning the conviction of our reality, where we have to look past the physical sense of what we're seeing and we have to push all the way through, right? To still hope, to still believe that God is a God of his word. That is our faith. When we hold tight to the foundation of that faith, what that means is we are rooted in God. We are rooted in the things of God when we hold tight to that. Because what we will do with that faith is not look toward ourselves for the answers, or make or create an answer based off of our own thought pattern, understanding, mindset, etc. So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because of the triumphs of faith. And what I mean by that is the people in Hebrews 11 that are spoken of. It talks about Abel, Enoch, and Abraham, Sarah, and Moses, and many other biblical examples, right? But what we can pull from the Bible examples is what they were recognized in their faith for. And you guys, like I said, I don't want you to just take my word for it. The reason why this is what we need to carry in the season into a new season, our foundation of faith, is because this, when we are creating something new, something we may not have a blueprint for specifically, or we may have done it prior, but every time we do it again, it is a little different. I'm instead of talking in riddles, I'm going to give you exactly what I mean. Here's a prime example. Yes, I had a child prior to this pregnancy that I was mentioning, right? But at the end of the day, what ended up happening was I know both pregnancies were not going to be exactly the same. So even though, yes, God allowed me to have a pregnancy a certain way, meaning like my first child was born within 7 hours of literally initial contraction, didn't mean that for this second child, that was going to be the same thing. I knew that in my mind, I knew that in my flesh, and I knew that in my body and spirit. So, of course, there was a buildup of doubt and a buildup of fear, right? But what I had to trust and remind myself, as you heard me mention in that journal entry, that if God could do it before, meaning if He could allow my pregnancy to be what I needed before, and even the delivery, that He would do this. I was trusting Him to do the same. I was putting my faith, as I said, I was hoping that divine guarantee in God to do the same thing, to confirm again that He would do the same thing, meaning whatever the pregnancy was, it would be what it needed to be, but it would be even what I needed it to be, right? Not only my child, my unborn child, but me as well. So much so that I can even actually attest to this. My uh, delivery with my son was about 3.5 to about 4 hours long. So that's what it was. It was definitely shorter. It was a little bit tougher than previous for my daughter, but it was wonderful. It was a wonderful pregnancy. So what I what I also wanted to tell you guys is this today. Um, God did the same thing, not only for the birth of my children, but He also did it for when I wrote my books. So let me explain that. He did it for the devotional as well as the novel. I really had no idea how to write either book, but it was a wonderful thing as well. I'm in the middle of a lot. So yeah, it was a wonderful thing. It was amazing as well for me to have to go through that, to have to do the devotional and do the live. It was just a wonderful experience because even though the devotional and the novel were completely different, they were a wonderful thing that God showed me He could help me through both. Meaning, when I didn't know, when I didn't understand, when I wasn't sure how I was going to do any of it, He helped me through. Did I have my doubts? Yes, I did. I had my doubts along the journey of my new seasons. Just as I did with my pregnancy with my son, I had my doubts. I had my doubts about that. I had my doubts about how it was all going to get done. I had my doubts about would God just even answer me? But He did. He helped me through. He showed me the path. He showed me what He wanted me to know as well. I I realized everything in His timing, right? When we hold tight to the foundation of faith, it is all things in His timing. It is, if we put our trust in that, meaning if we hope for that, He'll divinely guarantee. If we put our faith as assurance, meaning the title, the deed, and the confirmation, that He'll perform the things, the evidence of things not seen, meaning we'll see past what our reality is, that He will do so. He will do so just as he did for me with my children, with my books. And he's done it with so many other things. I can even tell you, for me, he did it with real estate. Like I never thought I'd be doing real estate. And he showed me through even that if I just have faith, if I keep my faith as my foundation, he would walk me through it all. I pray that this has encouraged you as well. That take a moment to examine your life, your situation, and even your circumstance. And just think of a time when you needed faith to get through a situation or even a circumstance, but you didn't fully understand, the new season being asked of you. And let me explain. A new season can look simply like this: taking a new job. A new season could look like getting married. A new season could look like getting divorced. A new season could be becoming a parent. Or it doesn't just have to be doing a thing like writing a book or um, or anything, or building a business or starting a business. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but that's also included. Sometimes it even looks like changing your profession, meaning you started out as one thing and now you're at a season where you need to do another. It's a lot. New seasons are can cover so much ground, so much ground. It even covers us from our college years to adulthood, right? Those transitions that we know new seasons more so as transition seasons, or as well. So even if it's a loss of a loved one, it takes you into a new season as well, because you have to become someone different than who you were when you were around them or with them. Meaning there has to be some growth after the mourning and after the sorrow. You still have to get back up and you have to live. So, yeah, think about that. No matter what your situation, no matter what your circumstance, hold tight to the foundation of your faith and let that be what you stand upon and what you carry with you as you go into a new season. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I my son tried to come in as well. When I tell you, even in this season of learning to do this right here, learning to get up here to talk to you guys and do this, even when my children still want me close and want to be near me. Yeah, it's a learning thing, right? It's a faith walk, and holding tight to that foundation of your faith and really sticking close to God along the way, I promise you, makes it much, much better than you doing it all by yourself. So, guys, this is my gem for the night. Thank you so much for tuning into Solitaire Gems. And like I mentioned, I hope this gem has blessed you. If it has, feel free to share it with a friend. Also, you can become a part of our Fruitful Gems family by going to the website scrolling at the bottom. That is www.fruitfulgems.com. Hopefully, I said the correct amount of W's. But yes, I am so grateful that you joined me and took the time to watch this. Until next time, join me again next Thursday night at 8 for another, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of Solitaire Gems. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.